The English Civil Wars, Part 18 Shrewsbury Story. The year 1642 saw the start of the English Civil Wars, in which the Parliamentarians, led by men like Essex, Fairfax and Cromwell, rebelled against King Charles I, whose government they considered to be arbitrary and oppressive. Shrewsbury, like most of Shropshire apart from Wem, was strongly Royalist. King Charles I visited the town in 1642, and Prince Rupert arrived for a few weeks in 1644, and recruited men for the disastrous campaign which led to a Royalist defeat in the Battle of Marston Moor. To prepare for any parliamentary attack, the town was given additional fortifications across the northern end of the town. These included a fortified wall and a ditch which reached from the castle all the way to the western loop of the River Severn, and another wall and ditch which should have reached all the way to the eastern loop. Unfortunately, it didn't, and the gap was filled by nothing stronger than a few feet of wooden palisade. Learning of this weakness from their spies early in 1645, the Parliamentarians at Wem entrusted Lieutenant Colonel William Reinking with a force of 1,200 men and instructed him to seize Shrewsbury. Setting out from Wem, by moonlight, on the evening of Tuesday the 21st of February, Reinking and his followers reached Shrewsbury, at about 4 o'clock on Wednesday morning, while the town was still sleeping. In the darkness, the main body of some 800 horsemen halted to the north of Castle Foregate, while the other 400 dismounted, and made their way across the fields towards the wooden palisade by the river. Reinking had brought carpenters with saws and axes to deal with the palisade, but he was afraid that the noise of breaking it down would alert the garrison to their danger. So he launched a small boat on the River Severn, loaded it up with men, and told them to row it upriver and land inside the defences. However, the current was too strong for them. Twice they tried and failed to bypass the defences in this manner, and then they were sighted by a Royalist sentry, who gave the alarm. Now it was too late to worry about making a noise. Reinking and 5 of his men rushed immediately to the palisade, and broke it down. The infantry poured through the gap, where the town wall ran along the riverside. A group of 50 men used ladders which they had brought with them, to scale the town wall, and ran to the north gate, Castle Foregate. Once over the wall, they dashed across the town to open the north gate, from the inside. But, not all the Royalists were still asleep, and Sir Michael Ernley led a small sortie from the castle, in an attempt to prevent the cavalry from reaching the gateway. In the melee that took place his men were swept aside, and he himself was seriously wounded. So it was, a few minutes later, the gateway had been captured, the drawbridge was let down, and about 800 Parliamentarian cavalry rode into the town virtually unopposed. Now the Parliamentarians had to seize the castle, which with its thick walls and trained guards would surely be almost impossible. Meanwhile, Reinking at the head of the other 350 men, who had streamed through the gap in the palisade, went forward to St. Mary's Watergate. In those days a tower, and a sentry point, was attached to the gate. However, the guards both there, and at another fort higher up the lane, where it was crossed by the town walls, were traitors. When a password was given, they immediately opened the gates. The Parliamentarians streamed into the town both through Castle Foregate and the breached palisade fence, reaching the street between the castle and the town, where the two parts met each other. Now, the only resistance left was at the court of the main guard, and part of the castle. Reinking was given a horse once again, and led an attack upon the court of the main guard, which stood on the site of the present market square. This was overcome after a short struggle in which Reinking had his horse killed under him. Most of the Royalist officers were taken in their beds. Remarkably, it is said that the total loss on both sides was only 7 men and 1 captain, and the Roundheads had gained the town. Images from various public domain sources have been included for entertainment purposes, and are not accurate depictions. The comic Roundheads cartoon is by Edgar Wilson, Bill Nye, public domain, via Wikimedia Commons. Text based upon the story of Shrewsbury, by Richard Graves, Hardwick House, Ellesmere 1993. Don't forget to like our video.